Great for building my supercross track. So with the dozer, it didn't take too much work to build up the big tabletops and the jumps and stuff. East of the house, it's all rocky and there's a few ponds and a lot of trees on it, and so it makes a great enduro course. Riding is enjoyment to me, and racing is fun, and I'm going to be doing it for a long time. I'll be doing it for a long time after someone's paying me to do it.
Guy Cooper is an interesting rider. He was started out kind of late in life, in his early 20s, as a supercross rider, full-fledged motocross rider for the Suzuki factory. Won the 1990 125 Outdoor Championship in his late 20s, which is really rare because most supercross and motocross riders by like 25 are burned out. He went on to win the World Supercross Championship in 1993. Guy Cooper is most interesting, I think, because of his spectacular riding style.
He was a mad dog. I mean, banging bars with Cooper was probably one of the most funnest things I ever did. He'd always come off the track, happy to be racing with you, you know, run into him, or him run into me, and I mean, he'd come off the track smiling, so I mean, Coop's a good guy.
When he was out there, he was having fun, and you know, he liked to make sure that everybody was watching him was too, and you know, it made him a big crowd favorite. I liked racing with Guy. I mean, I didn't really have to worry about anything, no revenge or anything brutal. Just you know, go out and have some good races and fun races.
Be remembered as a crazy jumper, for sure. And a good guy. I mean, he's a hell of a person. Good champion.
So when I came up through the ranks, I wanted to let people know I was out there. And whenever people would hear that panic rev, or Coop rev, how it's been termed, it didn't bother me. It was actually something that I used to my advantage. Whenever there was a jump that, especially in the mid-'80s, whenever the triples were getting really tough and a lot of people didn't know if it was worthwhile to jump them and risk crashing or just doubling and making a little bit longer of a track, I could triple, and I felt comfortable with the jumps. But I didn't want it to look like it was comfortable, so the David Baileys and Johnny O's and stuff wouldn't maybe do them. And so it was typical of me the first time I jump a big triple to leave the thing panned. Some of my best races I can remember in the past are racing with friends that overall really didn't matter. It was really the race that counted. dinner staff and I were racing at the interstate in Oklahoma City. And it's a sandy, whooped out track. A lot of fun with the back straightaway that was really fast. And the both of us were battling in this moto. And we could pass each other several times in a lap. And one time we were going down the straightaway side by side. And going into the corner, one of us had to give. And because if we both charged into it with one line at the end of this long straightaway, it was going to knock one of us down or maybe both of us down. And so both of us are giving it the professional, we are running for money, it's an expert class, you don't want to back out of it. And so we're both at that breaking point, and both of us hit the brakes at the same time. And we were almost crawling at the end, and we both looked at each other like, boy, that's awful nice of you. And it was one of the funniest races ever. I don't even remember who won the race that day. I just remember the attitude that racing is so much fun when you can do it side by side with somebody you get along with.
In my opinion, he's number one. I mean, he's not more just a champion, he's a champion in life, and to me that's more important. I think Cooper's legend's going to live on past the motorcycle era, and hopefully will inspire a bunch of kids down the road to become better, just better people, you know. And Cooper's been an inspiration for me, not only for me, but for a lot of people that I know.
Probably the best Supercross ever, Atlanta 1990. 5 guys running for the lead, and all of a sudden here comes Guy Cooper just out of nowhere, and Cooper's hammering on Stanton and Wardy and Ricky, and boy, the old man was rocking him dead. I'll tell you, Cooper, it's a shame that Cooper's dominance in the sport of motocross came when he was 30 years old.
Atlanta 1990, that was my best Supercross race I had in 1990. I struggled the whole year. I never could get a start with my Suzuki then. I rode the bike really well, but I never could get that start. This night in 1990, I didn't have a very good finish in my heat, and so I had a bad pick on the gate. So I went all the way to the inside and got my one good start that I needed to, and was up around 4th or 5th on the first lap, and worked through traffic, and the track just suited me. It was a good race, good ground, reminded me a lot of the traction that I have back home, but everything just fell into place. Funnest races ever in Supercross, because I looked up to Rick Johnson. He had won so many titles and everything, and here I was banging bars with him, and banging bars with Jeff Stanton and Damon Bradshaw, and all the riders were in here. It was a battle that there was 5 or 6 lead changes, and it was just a really good battle. The dirt was really good, and you could run from hay bale to hay bale. It was a wide track, and so setting up to pass people with my unusual lines anyway really paid off. Just picked lines, a lot of them just out of the blue. It had to be then, it had to be right then, had to think about it immediately. Those moves paid off. Rick Johnson and I had battled. We had banged bars on several occasions through this thing. I've seen the video where I passed Rick Johnson, and it's pretty funny. It even feels good to me to watch it again. Rick Johnson through the whoops was probably more cautious than he needed to be, but he wasn't going that fast through them, so it was a spot for me also to relax through. And on the last lap, I didn't realize that Jeff Ward had passed Ricky through those set of whoops. So he's already got that set of whoops lined up. And I go through in the lead on the last lap, through the set of whoops, making sure I didn't want to make a mistake, and also catching my breath. I'm exhausted at this point in the moto, and so I'm taking it easy, and Jeff Wood makes the ultimate pass on the right-hand side, and then pushes me wide in the corner. Not a bump or anything, just set me up for the perfect block pass. And since it wasn't Ricky that passed me back, I didn't have that retaliation like I had with Rick. Rick and I, we could pass each other 2 or 3 times, or at least get close to it every lap. And with Jeff passing me, it kind of set me back like, oh, I'm beat. And I just couldn't get my rhythm back. I finished 6 seconds in my career, and all of them feel like first. You know, I would, if I had a first place trophy that was Supercross, it would probably be something that I would really cherish because of the #1. But a lot of the #2s and #3s, they feel just as good as I'm sure the #1 does, because it was a race that I raced my best, and had the crowd behind me, which is always a neat feeling, and it just didn't happen, but it sure did feel good.
Tell you what, they don't make a nicer guy than him. You know, I grew up with him when I was a privateer in motocross, and we were both privateering on the road in our cars, and you know, he grew up and became real famous in motocross, and he's still the same Guy Cooper there was when I met him, you know, when we were traveling as privateers.
He's an outstanding rider. He'll try anything. He's into all types of riding. He just loves to ride a motorcycle. He's into trials, he's into enduros, he's into motocross, he's into everything, so it's really a neat deal all the way around. And he loves everything he does with bikes and with the people and with the public. He'll be the last one at every race signing autographs or talking to the kids or the family or the fans. It's really neat.
Over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been saving for the dream house, and this turned out to be fantastic land. I have 160 acres, a nice big house. It's too big for me, but maybe I'll grow into it someday. And I'm most proud of my shop building. I have 10,000 square feet of shop space, and can house the dozer and the tractors and all the motorcycles, and be able to work on them in a pretty clean environment. With my new contract, I don't have a factory mechanic from Suzuki, and so Billy Bartram, my brother-in-law, he's been around the motorcycling for a long time, and has always talked about wanting to be the factory mechanic and on the road. But he has kids and a family here in Stillwater, so being on the road would be really hard. He's been around my shop helping me prep my practice bikes for many years, and so now I give him the chance to be my mechanic. And we're only going to do about 10 or 12 events together, because some of the East Coast or West Coast, I might fly out and the bike will already be there through the sports promotion department. But it'll be a fun year.
Well, we're on your bike.
Oh, your bike.
My bike versus my bike.
Are you all going to go down here and come up the hill?
Yeah. You want to stand at the top?
I can stand at the top and flag you, and that way you'll
no,
also...
I want to, we can roll on. You just make sure it's clear.
Clear.
Okay. Where's my other bike at?
Right here.
Well, let me make sure I didn't mess this up too much. That's a half. That's 1. That's 1.5. That's 2. That's 2.5.